Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome for Stories of Hope. I am so glad to have you all here. My name is Nicole. I have been with Plexus for 3 years now. And one of the incredible things that I love about Plexus is how the community brings everyone together. Everyone helps each other with their products so they can be able to really thrive in life. And everyone just brings knowledge and love, and it's an amazing company, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And we have three ladies that are going to be sharing tonight. They're going to be talking about different areas that are all in relation to pretty much the same products. And you'll be able to see how these products focus on gut health, help so many different things. It's amazing. I want to say first that Plexus products are not intended to diagnose, they're not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, but they're incredible products, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear these wonderful three stories. So I'm going to kick the mic over to Miss Brooke. She is going to share how her second pregnancy has been different with these amazing products.
All right. Hi, guys. My name is Brooke. I'm 28 years old. I just had my second baby. Yay! And I just want to get on here and share about how different my second pregnancy was from my first pregnancy. So my first pregnancy, I didn't have the products, but shortly thereafter, I was blessed to have been that somebody shared with me. So my first pregnancy, I had a lot of heartburn, a lot of indigestion, and quite often at times at night when I would go to bed, I would have such bad heartburn and indigestion that I would have to sleep up. I would have to sit up a lot to move gases and to burp. And quite often I would end up vomiting because of my gut health was just so off balance. I didn't have good, gut microbes in there. I didn't have good bacteria in there, enough good bacteria in there. I wasn't balanced. So there's that. I really struggled with that. And my second pregnancy, I had been working on my gut health for a while. I had the products, I had the triplex, and I barely got heartburn and indigestion. I got some in the beginning and I got some here and there throughout my pregnancy, but it was a huge difference in that area. And also, I was able to stay very active with the products. I was very active exercising, and I was also very active with my toddler, which felt really, really good and really rewarding. I take kind of a multitude of the products. I started very basic though on the triplex and really got to that, that root cause. I really focused on that gut health for a long time before I incorporated other products. So that's what I did. But another thing that it helped with was with round ligament pain. So when we're pregnant, our body shifts, it opens, it gets ready for the big day. And we usually feel a lot of pain in our hips and lower back. And I did get some of that, but it was not nearly as bad as it was with my first pregnancy. So that was in and of itself really, really great. I took a lot of ease, which thankfully my OB approved the products. So blessed to have the products before and after. I had a C-section, and that ease was so helpful with the healing process. I'm so thankful. It was just so different. My mood was different, and my energy level was different with the products this time around. And breastfeeding is a complete 360. Like, I used to scrounge and scrape to try to make enough milk for my son when he was born. And with this pregnancy, I produced milk with absolutely no problem at all. I have plenty of milk in the freezer. I'm able to feed on demand when I need to feed my daughter. And that feels really good to be able to feed my daughter myself without any needing of formula or I don't think I would get emotional, but yeah, that really means a lot to me that I'm able to feed her fully. It's a really rewarding feeling. And just the overall pain and the swelling of that pregnancy normally brings, I hardly had any swelling. In fact, with my second pregnancy, I had a cyst and it never hurt. It never hurt me. Like a lot of people were shocked that it would, but it never did. So if you're listening, I hope that you give the products a try. If you have questions or concerns, reach out to whoever invited you to this, because anybody that shares Plexus with you truly cares about you. So thank you for listening.
Brooke, thank you so much for sharing that. When you were talking about before your first pregnancy, the acid reflux, the pain in the hips and the lower back, and then even the milk production, huge differences. Like I can just tell you that it's okay to get emotional. You're totally huge right to feel that, because I mean, just being able to nurse and then making sure that your baby has enough, that's wonderful. So it's totally okay, believe me.
Yeah.
We'll all just take a deep breath. How old is your daughter now?
She just turned 4 months old.
Oh, and so you had a cesarean, and the ease, which is the turmeric and New Zealand green mussel, has done wonders for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
My gosh, so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Such a big help with the healing and just with the overall pain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it must have been a huge stress reliever to hear that your OB was totally comfortable with you taking these products.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It was a huge my shoulder.
Yeah.
Made me
That's
feel
wonderful.
so good. And I advocated for myself.
Yep.
I think sometimes people get a little scared about supplements, but I advocated for myself. I knew I wanted to take these products. I knew that they were important for my health. And I pushed for that. So
That's wonderful. I totally agree. It's important to be a self-advocate, and then having your provider be right on board with you just makes it, of course, even better. So I'm so excited for you, and I'm so happy to hear the difference. This is wonderful. Thank you so much, Brooke.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're going to pass the mic over to Miss Amanda. Amanda is going to be sharing about one of her kiddos and having gastric issues. And I have not heard this journey, I don't think yet. So I look forward to it. Here you go, Miss Amanda.
Thanks, Nicole. Yeah, I haven't really shared this journey yet. This is really like the first time I've kind of chatted and kind of put this all together. We were talking about it as a family. It's just been life-changing for us, adding Plexus into our routine. So Elsie was my miracle baby. No joke. They literally told us she was a cyst, but that's a story for another day, because tonight we're talking about Plexus products and how they've helped. She was born a very healthy little girl. The only thing that she had issues with was like her body temperature. So we had to keep her in that little incubator thing for a while. The doctors thought she was going to be like a whopping 9 pounds, and she ended up being 6 pounds, 8 ounces. She was a peanut. Her first year of life, she had a lot of colds, a lot of upper respiratory infections, and it just seemed like one thing after another. And, one of the days she started running really high fevers, and she had these for almost a week, and it ended up being E. coli. So we had to put her on antibiotics, and it was just crazy. Being a new mom, and I was breastfeeding as well, and I thought I had such mom guilt, thinking like, isn't this stuff supposed to be the greatest in the land? Um, and so as we began kind of transitioning her to foods during that first year, she started having accidents a lot. We were lucky because we were able to potty train her early, but we learned really quickly that her little tummy was just so constipated. Her belly was just always so swollen, and her pediatrician prescribed like the child version of Miralax for her, and I would have to like put it in her bottle, and I would cringe every time I gave it to her because she would take like her little body and she'd stretch her legs right out. It was like you could literally watch like the moment it hit her stomach and then just caused cramping in her stomach. So it made it worse and it didn't really seem to help. But we tried everything we could very naturally, like prunes, all the foods with peas, like we did all the research. And about 2 years ago, her tonsils began acting up. They were literally huge. I'm not sure if I can screen share here.
You should be allowed to now. Let me know.
I'm not sure if I can here. But she literally, her tonsils were like touching in the back of her throat. So she had what was called kissing tonsils. And, we would bring it up to the pediatricians. Finally, I asked for a second opinion, and we found an amazing ear, nose, and throat specialist. And I will never forget the day he said, "Does she snore at night?" And I answered yes. And my heart completely stopped when he said, "Amanda, children under the age of 5 don't snore." He said, "That's an airway obstruction at that age." So we scheduled to have them removed. And, thankfully, our family began Plexus that very same month because it was just life changing. My husband and I began with the triplex. We started feeling better, cured up some issues that we were both having. And then by January, we had learned about like the X Factor kids. When we signed on as an ambassador, we had a little bit extra for us to be able to purchase those for her. So we decided to start just Elsie on this regimen. And we saw immediately a huge difference in her behavior, her moods. She stopped having the accidents, and she was going to the bathroom regularly. And it was just awesome to see her feel so proud, because she didn't understand, why any of that was happening. And her little tummy just lost like so much inflammation, and she was just had so much more energy running around just from a couple vitamins. And I remember her pediatrician said to me, "Is that the one with the probiotics?" When I brought the sheet in, and I said, "Yes, it is." And she just gave me like a big thumbs up. So I knew I had the seal of approval from her. And, she's 5.5 now. She's going to be 6 in June. And she looks forward to her, X Factor Kids each morning. She also loves the Mega Kids microbiome drink. With, everything with COVID happening, we kind of saw a little rise like in anxiety, which I'm pretty sure that's been normal for a lot of kiddos. And she knows on those days that we add just like a little bit of Mummy's microbiome to her Mega Kids, and that kind of seems to do the trick. And I mean, we are just so grateful for these products.
Wow, Amanda, I didn't realize your girlie went through that. Oh,
Yeah, it was a quite a transition for her, and we just couldn't figure out what it was, but I think we got a handle on it now.
it sounds that she must, I mean, like you said, she didn't really understand the science of like, why am I feeling better? But she must have been relieved, like no more accidents and probably feeling more confidence. So then she's able to really express herself more because she was feeling good.
Absolutely. We've just seen so much improvement with her in all aspects of life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Can
So
I jump in, Nicole, real quick?
go right ahead, Ashley.
I just have to share this, Amanda. So you pretty much described me as a child. All of those symptoms, that was my childhood. And I just am so grateful that your daughter has these products now to prevent her from getting sick later, because mine escalated until in my late teens, rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid disease, everything. So it's just incredible what we're able to do for our kids that wasn't available for us when we were kids. So I just
Oh,
wanted you to know you're doing a great job.
oh, thanks, Ashley. That's so awesome to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, I ditto what Ashley says because it is, you know.
Yeah, and I love too that um, I have a son too, and he's gonna be 4 in a couple of weeks, and he does take the X Factor kids as well, but they are understanding that we are adding something healthy. It's, to help us feel better. And so they do look forward to that every single day. And I love that they're growing up and that is just going to be a normal part of their life, healthier foods, more water, more movement, and, the amazing products that we have from this company.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda, for sharing.
You're
Oh
welcome.
my goodness. Okay, you guys are awesome. All right, so I'm going to switch the mic over to Miss Michelle, who is also going to be sharing about her daughter and an autoimmune condition, which I hear is quite an incredible story. So I look forward to hearing about this.
All right. Thanks, lady. And Nicole, and thanks, ladies, for sharing those stories. I can totally relate from being an infant to mine is 15 years old now. So I love how whoever's listening to this or watching this recording later is going to see how this can impact your children from birth to, like Ashley said, setting them up for success for the rest of their life. And that's kind of where my daughter's at. Plexus came into our life because of Julia. My husband and I always say we're fine. Like we didn't have any serious health issues. We didn't take vitamins. But around the age of 8 or 9 years old, Julia came home from her little Berlin Bears cheer practice with like a bruised ankle. And we started icing it. I was like, oh, what would happen? Did you get hurt? And no, I didn't get hurt. But you know how kids are. I'm like, she probably twisted it or something. But it was really weird because as the evening went on, the bruising started getting worse and was in different places on her foot. So we ended up going to the children's hospital. And while we were in the waiting room, her other toes started turning purple. So we became really scared on the inside. We didn't want to, it's fine, you're going to be fine. But on the inside, all the scaries came into our mind and they couldn't find anything. They did x-rays, they did blood work. But meanwhile, our daughter's legs were like bruising in front of our very eyes. And they ended up, by kind of process of elimination, determining that she had an autoimmune disease called Henoch-Schönlein purpura, or HSP, which they said is rare, but not, unheard of. And basically her body was attacking her blood vessels and they were just breaking just by her sitting there. And we don't know why this started happening to her, what sparked this or brought this on. And it lasted 6 weeks. And then on top of it, her body broke out in hives as a reaction to the autoimmune disorder she was having. And it was just, cheerleading had to stop, recess, gym, because the movement would make her blood vessels break more. So she looked like a battered child for like 6 weeks, just sitting there doing nothing. And, we were told it'll pass on its own. It's something, we don't know if it'll come back. And our doctors were great. But when something like that happens to your child's body, you start thinking, well, okay, what else is her body going to attack or do to her? And after that passed, we got through that. About maybe 8 months later, she came home and told me that, thank God she can't hear me, she'd be mortified, but that her vagina was like hurting. It was bothering her. And I was like, well, how mom, did you wipe good? Did you all the things? She ended up having lichen sclerosis, which is another autoimmune issue that attacks the lining of your skin, and then again, like there's bruising and blood vessels breaking. She had to go to a gynecologist. We had so it started like that, and it became one thing after another. And as wonderful as the doctors were, we were only treating her symptoms. And my concern was, what is her future going to look like? And like Ashley, I'm so glad that you said that, because I don't imagine that if we hadn't addressed her gut health, she would have gotten better. I imagine that things would have kept compiling. So that's when we saw Abby sharing on, I had been, seen Abby sharing on Facebook that she was addressing gut health. And my husband and I knew there had to be a root. There had to be something going on in her body that was not right. Like, her body should not be attacking her this way. And we didn't think that traditional medicine and these kinds of treatments that we were doing were gonna help her long term. So we decided to address her gut health, and we started her on triplex. And we have not, thank the Lord, seen a return or worsening of any autoimmune disease from Julia. So it has really been just a blessing. And when we started it with her, we were just like, Mommy and Daddy are going to do it with you. Like, that's how we got started on Plexus. It was literally just to do it with her. We're all going to get healthier and take these vitamins and supplements. And then my husband and I were like, oh, we weren't fine at all. Like, we are not fine. Like, I had health issues that were normal to me because I dealt with them my whole life. And we got so much healthier, and we just realized what a blessing they were, not just for Julia, but for our whole family. So I can totally sympathize, ladies, with when you see your baby going through anything. I mean, even when it's like the common cold, you just want them to feel better. But when you see something that their body is attacking itself, or they're always getting sick and they're just not getting better, and it's one thing after another, your mama instincts tell you, there's something more that we can do. And gut health was the answer for Julia and for us.
Michelle, my heart goes out to you. I am so glad that Abby shared so that you guys were able to get help for Julia.
It was really amazing. And it's something like, I think people don't always connect gut health with autoimmune. Or so many other health issues that we have. But I would just say to anybody, whether it's your child or yourself, if you're not feeling well and it's not getting better, try to address your root, the root health, the root gut health. Made all the difference.
I totally agree. It makes sense. It's like we try everything, and it's like, well, there has to be a reason. And it's hard because like the providers can be like, well, there really isn't, right. But no, so usually there always is. There's something down in there, and the products work wonders, obviously.
Yeah. And like Brooke said too, you have to advocate for our doctors are great. I love her pediatrician. Every doctor that we went to, I know and believe they were doing what they knew as was best. And that's what they know. And I know gut health is a fairly new thing. And I do believe in the next 10 years, you're going to be going to your doctor and they're going to say, hey, let's try addressing your gut health as one of the things. And that's going to be a great day. But until then, ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. Definitely take these to your doctor. But listen to your gut. If it's just not getting better, if your child's not getting better, it doesn't hurt to try. So definitely, I'm so glad we did.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I know the rest of us all do too. Does anyone in the audience have any questions for our sharers? You can go ahead and unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Okay. Well, I do have a question for Miss Brooke, if you're okay to talk right now. Okay. So,
Yes.
Brooke, I just wanted to make sure I understood. So your milk production is more like you have no difficulties with milk production now compared to the first time. That's awesome.
None at all. None.
Very good.
Yeah, I used to try to produce and power pump and eat all the things, oatmeal, sweet potato, drink a lot of water, put the baby to breast a lot. But every time, I would leave the house to have like a little me time, and then my baby, would drink a bag of milk, and I would look in the freezer and just feel, oh, there's just not enough. There's just not enough. So it's complete difference with this time around with breastfeeding. So thankful for the products.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That is a huge difference. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So I want to thank my sharers so much for being here and letting us hear these incredible journeys. And I want to thank everyone for being here again tonight. And please reach out to the person that invited you here, that shared this video for you, because as always, they love you. They want the best for you. Till next time. Night, guys.